How many more datas are there?
Hey guys, I've dug up some facts for Star Trek Next Generation Season 1 episode Datalore, whereby the Enterprise is visiting the Omicron Theta star system, which is the home of Commander Data. It's where he was first discovered several years ago. So on to the first fact that I've discovered for this episode. Alternative names for Lore. Now the character of Lore, of course, is the double of Data, which is another robot version of the Data character, which is found on the planet. But the alternative names for him originally, of course he's called Lore, but the original name for him in the very first story outline was Termite, just like the bug Termite. And other versions of the name which they came up with until they settled on the name Lore, we have Termite Lore, Lord Sung, Termite Sung, Graver, Termite Graver, and Challenger. But of course, at the end of it all, they simply settled on the name Lore, without a surname.
Can this be another me?
The original plan for the episode was to have a robotic version of Captain Picard, who would start friendly, but eventually try to kill the real Captain Picard and take over the ship as a replacement for him. But of course this didn't happen. But what happened is, obviously, that they went with a robotic double of Data, which of course story-wise makes more sense. Actor LeVar Burton can actually be seen chewing gum during the first scene in engineering during this episode. He's not at the forefront of the camera, but if you look in the background you can see LeVar Burton, and he's clearly chewing on chewing gum. Nobody noticed this until the episode was aired, so they couldn't edit it out at the time. I'm sure LeVar Burton had a strict word spoken to him by one of his superiors on set not to chew gum after this. Deleted scenes show an abandoned B-plot from this episode. I think there's about 5 minutes worth of scenes that weren't used. Deleted scenes show a B-plot with Picard's ex, Jim Jeffries, coming on board, which would throw a bit of a cog in the works, because obviously Captain Picard's trying to deal with all these problems with Data, and he has his ex coming on board. But they edited it out, or simply didn't use these scenes, including the character of Jim Jeffries, and he was never even spoken of on screen. Now usually it takes around 4 or 5 days to film an episode of Star Trek Next Generation, but because of a looming actors' strike in late 1987, they managed to film all of the episode in just over 2 hours, filming every scene in only one take, which of course has never been done again and hadn't been done up to that point, and even now they look back and will tell funny stories about the time, but they filmed a whole episode in just 2 hours, which really was good work. Now with the episode Datalore, no script was actually prepared for the episode, only a story outline, and so the actors had to ad-lib all of the words in the episode, which explains why some of the dialogue is actually bizarre or doesn't make sense, because the actors are just saying what they think they should say at that time. Now, of course, some of them, like Captain Picard, they're seen as... Captain Stewart is seen as a bit of a wordsmith. He's very good with words, so the dialogue that he says is absolutely fine. But some of the rubbish that comes out of Riker's mouth, you just wouldn't believe. Or you can if you watch this episode. It barely makes sense at all. The regular wardrobe department and hair department manager, Jessica Sleuth, was sick the morning of filming of this episode, and as I just said, it was all filmed in one day. So Gene Roddenberry actually stepped in to assist with some of the managing of the hair and wardrobe department, going so far as to helping groom Riker and Commander Worf's hair. Or actually, I apologise, back then it would have been Lieutenant Worf. So yes, Gene Roddenberry actually helped to comb and groom Riker and Worf's hair. The captain's log used in this date, which is Stardate 41241.4, was used in this episode, but not only in this episode, actually also in the episode Cupid in Season 4. Could this be a mistake, or perhaps a time distortion created by Q in the episode Cupid? I think we'll never know. I'd like to think that they didn't make a mistake by reusing the Stardate. In the episode Datalore, Data is seen practicing how to sneeze like a human at the start of the episode. Wesley comes into the room and finds Data standing there feigning sneezing, like looking into a mirror trying to do a realistic sneeze, which he isn't very good at, of course. Now, in the original story outline, there was the option of Data either practicing burping, sneezing, coughing, or farting. But of course they went with Data going with sneezing, which was the easiest of these functions for Brent Spiner to try and manipulate himself to do on screen. Now, when Data first sees Law in the episode, he exclaims, "My brother, my dubious brother." This first impression of Law that Data perceives turns out righteous, as Law is in fact very dubious indeed. To make Law more distinctive from Data, they hired a world-renowned voice actor, Ingrid Taylor, to speak all of Law's lines. So it's not actually Brent Spiner putting on a silly voice, it's actress Ingrid Taylor speaking over the original takes of the episode and doing the voice of Law. That's why you might notice that Law's voice is distinctively different. Now, when Riker asks Data if Law has all of his parts, we all know what he's getting at. And there's even a little smirk on Riker's silly face. What a disturbing individual, and what a question to ask of Data if his brother has all of his parts. We know exactly what Riker's getting at. He's a bit of a rude git. Okay, thanks for checking out these very interesting facts about Datalore, which is an absolute gold classic episode of Star Trek Next Generation Series 1. Please subscribe to the channel if you can be bothered. Otherwise don't, but thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed some of these facts. Some of them really were outlandish, but it was a joy to discover the facts and to relay them on to you. Of course, I have to trawl through deleted scenes, look at the extras on DVDs and find stuff online, but it's really interesting, and also interviews, of course, with the actors. Thanks very much for watching my video. See you next time. Bye.